Namaskar, good evening friends. Let's discuss about the CPA degree. This degree is now an internationally accepted degree in accounting, and one of the dimensions that we will cover is also that what are the pros and cons of doing a CPA vis-a-vis a CA. So CPA with its 4 subjects, how does it stack up with respect to CA, we'll also understand. So this is Anurag, your host on this channel, who loves to share the little that he knows. Please subscribe to this channel, the usual customary request that I have. So CPA stands for Certified Public Accountant. He or she is a trusted financial advisor who helps individuals, business plan and reach their financial goals. Remember, all CPAs in the US are accountants, but not all accountants are CPAs. The uniform CPA exams are conducted by the AICPA, that's the American Institute of CPAs, which is coincidentally the world's largest accounting body. It offers its membership to all candidates who successfully clear the CPA exams, just like the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India offers its membership to all people who've cleared CA final. It's just the same. There are 55 states or territories of the US where the CPA license is issued by any one of them. And all of these states are members of the NASPA, that's the National Association of the State Boards of Accountancy. As on date, we would have far more, because this is a year back figure. There were 6,64,532 active individual CPAs in the US. So that is a huge number. So this accounting body is a force to reckon with, not just in the US but globally, because of the massive size that it has. So meet Miss Belicia. So she became the world's youngest CPA at the age of 17, and she now works as an accountant for her parents' landscaping and construction company in California. Now CPAs are licensed to practice according to state specific requirements for education and experience. They must adhere to higher standards of continuing education, just like the CPE requirement in India, must maintain ethics just like in India and fulfill unique functions. For example, the audit and attest function, which is there in the Indian context given only to a chartered accountant, in the US it can only be done by a CPA. So a CPA is a good degree to do in case you've got aspirations for a career in the US. Now we'll come to that a bit later, but what are the career options that open up once you are a CPA? You can get into forensic accounting, international accounting, primarily US GAAP, because US is one of those rare countries which has not still adopted the IFRS. Environmental accounting in countries like US, this itself is a big industry. Academics and research, so I know a lot of my seniors from IIM Ahmedabad as well who've taken a CPA and now have become professors in the accounting field in schools like Harvard Business School or Stanford. Maybe in information technology, where a CPA can get into information systems risk, general accounting, which is the bread and butter activity for every business, audit and assurance, tax accounting and FP&A. Now the Indian CPA candidates need to understand that it's the US equivalent of the Indian CPA. The difference is that while there are 3 level exams and 16 exam parts of CA, there is only a single level exam where you can take all 4 exam parts, that's the 4 subjects together. In the CA there are 8 subjects in the final, 7 in the IPCC and 4 in the foundation system under the new system, and earlier it was considered as just one CPT exam. So it was 1 plus 7, 8 plus 8 is equal to 16. You can become a CPA in a roadmap of less than 12 months vis-a-vis 4 to 5 years that's required for a CA. But yes, this 12 months will be after graduation, and they can be taken anywhere in the US or international testing locations such as Middle East, countries like Bahrain, Kuwait, Lebanon and the UAE. So Indians might find it better not to go to the US because of the high travel and residential costs, but opt for one of these Middle East countries. The exam is an online exam made at 400 Prometric centers across the US, conducted twice every quarter. So in the first quarter it's for Jan-Feb, the second quarter it's for April-May, third quarter July-August, and the fourth quarter it's October and November. So that's the specific testing window. Bahrain, now it's offered also in countries like Japan, Brazil and Lebanon as well. So this test figures, centers keep changing year on year basis their fulfillment of the criteria. Now what are the subjects? One is FAR, which is the financial accounting and reporting, primarily deals with US GAAP and IFRS. The other subject is auditing and attestation, AUD, which stands for the auditing standards and procedures. We have REG, which is the regulations in terms of the US tax and laws, the federal tax and the business laws, and BEC, which is business environmental concepts, the typical business transactions. What is the kind of pass percentage? Across subjects, if you look at it, like in BEC, you've got the highest pass percentage in 2016 of 55%, but normally it is still better than the Indian CA because that will hover somewhere around 8, 12, 13%. Here it is far more. In 2017 as well, you've had sub 40ish plus kind of range for the pass percentage. Now, CPA is just one of the exams that you need to do to become a CPA, but the other three criteria, the three E's, are education, experience and ethics. So unless after clearing the CPA exams which you've taken in an international location like Dubai, the credits will lapse unless you are able to get a CPA license within 3 years after clearing the CPA exams. So what is the thing? The candidate is an applicant for a CPA license, must have 1 to 2 years experience under a CPA, and additional requirements would be probably a graduate degree vis-a-vis 150 hours of undergraduate. Employers, you need to show relevant work ex, just like the international CFA you need. For the charter you need 4 years of relevant work ex. Here also you need to show that you've done tax professional work or an auditor work in a public accounting firm or an industry for 150 hours of education. Now foreign students need to get their academic qualifications evaluated by independent agencies, which another is a cost driver as well. Each state board will have a different rule, but generally one would need 150 credit hours of general higher education. Typically one would get 30 credit hours for each academic year. So typically each board is looking for a 5-year kind of a experience, let's say from an Indian guy. So if you've done a 3-year BCom degree in India, you get 90 credit hours. Earlier with the CA certification, they used to give you 40 credit hours. So you had 130 credit hours and you could have got qualified in a few states. But now CA has been considered as an experience qualification rather than an academic qualification, and therefore you don't get this credit of 40 hours. That makes things a bit difficult. So idea is that instead of trying to leverage the CA for fulfilling the 150 hour criteria, you should have a related masters, and then it is counted as 5 years. If you've got a BCom but non-accounting masters like MBA, then you need to take up additional accounting courses. So that becomes a precursor to your taking the CPA exams. Now CPAs, by dint of their education, will have good knowledge of the GAAP, auditing standards, federal taxation and business and financial concepts. The advantage, one, international recognition, while if you got a CA, you are a member of the ICAI. So that's, India is your turf. But with the CPA, you kind of have the world as your turf, because this is the world's largest accounting body. You've got increased job opportunities, so you might be a big fish in India as well as the Middle East with the Indian CA. If you are wanting to increase your territory and area of jurisdiction, CPA would be most perfect. Also, AICPA has got tie-ups with Canadian and Australian chartered accountants, and thus you can be eligible to work with the CPA degree in Canada, in the US and Australia, which makes it a formidable combination. Now in the Indian curriculum, under the CA, you would be very good if you are working for an Indian firm, but a lot of American based clients have come up in India, setting up shop like a General Motors or Ford. Now if that's the case, you might want to have knowledge in IFRS, generally accepted accounting standards, and US GAAP. That's where the CPA gives you the cutting edge knowledge. In terms of the exam, the focus is on remembering plus understanding. Now with the 2017 revised thing, so their focus is now on higher order skill test, because basic vouching verification can now even be done by robots. You heard about robotic process automation, right? So they are like now 16 hours of exams, AUD, BEC, FAR and REG. You've got 32 task-based simulations across the 4 papers. Now, if you look at basically what exactly is the cost of a CPA, you look at it, it's like the exam fee will be $192 for each of the subjects. That's $770. Registration fee can vary from $30 to $200+ depending on the state. Then you will be spending around $1,000 for your coaching for the CPA. Then you've got extra costs for international candidates. So your foreign credential evaluation report will need to be submitted. So that will be a basic service which could cost you anywhere between $150 to $200. In case it's an urgent request, it will cost more. So it's like a transcript. Your Indian degree, how does that get accepted in the US? Then once you get the CPE license, you have to pay like a fee every reporting cycle, just like the membership fee for the CA Institute, from $30 to a few $100. And you need to fulfill your CPRs to keep the license active. Must be done every year, just like the CPA requirements. So typically for an international candidate, what will going to happen is that you got this mandatory fee of $1,000. Review course might cost $1,700. Ethics exam again is a requirement, $130. Licensing fee $150. Evaluation report $150. Travel and hotel $1,000. So it's something around $4,000 plus is the cost you have for international candidate. Plus, in case you are not taking the exam in the US but you're taking it internationally, then you need to pay this further fees, which I get it from the NASPA website, of around $356 per subject. So which will come around $1,500 additionally in case you plan to take these exams from the outside of the US. But the career prospects are very good. So if you look at the kind of salaries based on this pay scale data for 1,942 individuals across different industries, be it a company or a NGO or a non-profit organization or a government, federal, you get very handsome salaries, $60,000 plus. If you are less than 1 year, it's like $51,000. With 1 to 4 years, it goes up to $53,000. 5 to 9 years, it becomes $65,000. Around 20 years, $77,000, and then $86,000. That's a bomb. More than 50 lakh rupees equivalent in INR currency. So that's how the cookie crumbles in terms of salaries. It will be nothing less than $50,000 if you look at it even at the junior level, and at the senior level it grows much more. Idea is that the CPA license will give you 10 to 15% more when you start out as compared to a normal accounting graduate. Now serious earning potential increase over time. So upper level salaries for CPAs who become CFOs in large companies will be like $100,000 to $465,000 at the peak. Corporate controller and tax manager, that will again vary depending on the company, the geography, your scope, etc. Now again there are data, because data eventually tells the whole story. If you look at across all cities, you will have New York, which pays you the highest, followed by San Francisco, California, which is the economic thing, and Chicago again, followed by Texas, Houston, and then Colorado. So across all cities you get very good career options in case you are a CPA. Now you will compare, what happens is that once you start as a junior accountant based out of a college degree vis-a-vis CPA, you will see that your career becomes fast paced because of the CPA degree. So the salary raise will take you to $90,000 if you're working during good times in a typical span of 3 years. Now from 4 to 6 years, senior accountants, again when you climb up the career ladder, the firm will award them with an increased salary every year. And that is where if you are working especially in a big 4 firm as compared to a small local CPA firm which is serving mom and pop stores, the salary delta becomes larger. And at a director to senior manager level, the CPA salary will be multiples of what they earned a few years ago. Maybe even $500,000 if you manage to become a partner in a big 4. So yes, the cost is humongous in terms of, but yeah, you get a 10% premium for being a CPA vis-a-vis a regular accountant in the US. For an entry level position in the big 4, you get $60,000 annually. 10% of that is $6,000. So it's more than enough to cover the basic cost. So in the first year, you get the payback for all that you spent. And if you work in a national accounting firm, they give you $5,000 bonus once you pass the CPA exam. Your salary raise will be 10 to 15% once you become a CPA. So that's the cumulative impact. Therefore, in terms of the life cycle, it becomes far more enriching for you to do the CPA. If you want to become a practicing accountant, you need to have the CPA license. Even in companies for corporate accounting roles such as controllers, people want you to become a CPA. And after 15 years, if you think that, okay, let me graduate to when I might probably become a partner or controller, at that age, maybe going back to the textbooks and tackling exams might not be everyone's cup of tea. Now, if you look at the salary guide for accounting and finance by Robert Half, people who have a CPA license will earn 10 to 15%, in fact 5 to 15% more than the non-credentialed counterparts. So over a period of 40 years, the CPA degree will earn you $1 million more than a non-certified accountant. You get options everywhere, Big Four, financial services, MNCs, etc. Look at this, like they have that specific career center and you have this host of jobs that keep getting posted on their career site on AICPA.org, where across the industry you will find CPAs are in high demand. Now we just took one example that if you've got two non-certified CPAs with a bachelor degree who start working at the same time in an audit and assurance firm at the same annual salary of $68,000, one then in course of time becomes a CPA. So then this is 10% salary differential, which is like $7,000 more, because the stats say that it will get anywhere between 5% to 15% more than their non-credentialed counterparts. So then over a period of time you get much better promotions in case you have got degree, so it might go up to $50,000. So over a career life cycle, you might end up earning $1 million or more in your lifetime earnings. So this is the basics thing. $68,000 CPA salary becomes $68,000 when you start. Over a period of time, because you earn the degree, you start getting this extra $8,000 vis-a-vis $82,000 when then you graduate to a senior auditor, to a manager, to a senior manager. So your lifetime earnings then, because of the CPA, is incremental earning by at least $1 million. So that's a lot of money. CPA might be very good with the CA, and I would rather imagine then why not both? Get both the certifications because they are so similar. You are better off choosing than one or the other depending on you might at a later point of time want to practice in the US. But yes, in case you don't have immediate plans to practice both in the US and abroad, there is no need to have both credentials. The CA degree will do you very good in case you are wanting to restrict your career just to India or to the Middle East, because Middle East is typically run by Indian chartered accountants. But if you want to work in the US or for a US company or a company that is traded on the US market, so let's say Infosys or an ICICI bank, you might probably need a CA+CPA apart from your CA to accelerate your career. So if you want to work in US GAAP specifically, you will need to have your CPA license. So if you're looking at your career in accounting, the road to CPA will be probably a very good role. Thanks. In case you've got any questions, any comments, please put them in the comment section. Shall be happy to answer. Thank you.